Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Stillwater. We are a diverse religious community seeking spiritual experience and all forms of knowledge in an atmosphere of acceptance, love, and respect. Our mission is to protect and perpetuate religious freedom, tolerance, and knowledge, to challenge injustice, and to nurture and serve one another and the wider community. This morning, our service leader is Reverend Catherine Shearer. And we have musicians Annye Love, Lee Bell, Mike McMullin, and Doug Williams. And Linda Smolin will do a story. We'll continue with announcements.
After the service, please join us in the social room for refreshments and conversation. March is Pledge Month. You'll find pledge forms on the table at the entrance to the social room. The top part of the form goes in the red slotted lockbox for the treasurer, and the bottom part is for you to keep for your records. Today, after social time, Alicia Light Angel is scheduled to lead a forum on human design. Discover who you designed yourself to be before the world told you who you should be. The board is scheduled to meet this Tuesday, March 10th at 6:30. The agenda is posted on the bulletin board in the social room. This Wednesday, March 11th, pack a brown bag lunch and join the women's luncheon group at noon in the church social room. For more information, see Sandy Schultz. The Crafty UUs meet on the second Saturday of the month, which is this coming Saturday, March 14th, at 2 p.m. in the forum room. Bring whatever you want to work on and share some time together. The contact person is Joe Melnick. Next Sunday's sermon will be provided by Reverend Susan Ross. Her sermon title will be Two Doctors. As she teased in the March newsletter, two doctors walk into a bar, then what? Next Sunday is our traditional monthly after-church potluck, so when you're doing your meal planning, keep that in mind. Do we have a theme? Don't have to have a theme. Okay. To be determined. Excellent. I thought ruminating might be the theme when you said that. I was like... The next Ladies' Night Out, featuring an Academy Award-winning movie, will be on Tuesday, March 17th in the Forum Room. The doors open at 7, the movie starts at 7:30, and there will be buttered popcorn. On Saturday, March 21st at 3 p.m. here at the church, we will be celebrating Ostara, observing the equinox, and simply longing for spring. So if you are interested in that, come on that Saturday the 21st. And for more information, I believe you see Alicia Light Angel. Is that correct? Sure. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know what more information you want. Just come join us.
Just come. All right, perfect. For those new or relatively new to our church, Susan Bullard and Mark Christian will be holding newcomer orientation sessions at 6 p.m. on Monday, March 23rd and Monday, March 30th in the forum room. We are assembling a group from our church to pick up trash in Stillwater's annual trash off on Saturday, March 28th from 9 to noon. Groups will meet at Couch Park, Pavilion 2. There is a sign-up sheet in the social room. The city provides work gloves, safety vests, and trash bags, and anyone wishing to earn community service hours can get verified hours from this event. Four weeks from today is Easter, April 5th. Our potluck brunch is from 9:30 to 10:15. The Sunday service starts at 10:30 as usual. The flower communion is during the service, and the children's Easter egg hunt is after the service. There's a sign-up sheet in the social room for those who would like to bring a dozen Easter eggs ready for hunting. You know, like if it needs to be filled, it's already filled. So you need to bring those to the church by Sunday, March 29th, which is the Sunday before Easter. On Easter Day, please bring a flower for the flower communion, a brunch item to share, and a basket for each child hunting eggs. The mindful meditation practice will not meet on Easter Sunday. Mark, I believe you wanted to make an announcement?
Yes. I'm not going to try and find a microphone, I'll just speak up. Not next Sunday, but Sunday after that, the 22nd, I'll be doing a question box sermon. That depends, of course, on you all having questions. There will be a box up here, hopefully next week, to put them in there. But if you're thinking about what kind of things you can ask me, maybe you want to ask me some idea that I keep going back to that you're not quite getting, or you want to ask why I think that's important. Maybe you want to ask about the loss of my sight and how I get by in a reduced vision world, or how I tie together ideas when I can't write them out, or any kind of question you have about church or religion or theology or spirituality. This sermon is for you to speak now or forever hold your questions.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
One chance, forever. Good point.
Paper and writing instruments were passed out. Does anyone not have that? Does everybody have paper? All right, if you don't, hold your hand up. Yes, at the end of the service, please return your pens. How funny. They do walk off that way. Okay, everybody has paper and something to write with now. We're not going to use it right now. It's for during the sermon.
Is this going to be an open book quiz?
You know, it's not my quiz.
You are the book.
Not my quiz. Okay. Lynn, you ready for your minute? Is it already time? Yeah.
That lost hour got you.
I know.
It did. I do feel the lost hour today. That's true. I think I'm going to have a nap before the day's over. So I think this is the church minute, and I was asked to speak as Hillary was last week. I made a few notes, nothing formal because I'm just not that kind of girl. But I just wanted to say, as far as how I got started on this path, the more, to me, I call it the spiritual path, was back in the 80s. I had a friend that was into crystals and meditation and, you know, some of that kind of stuff. And so I got introduced to it back then, and I thought, well, this is cool. I kind of like this because I had grown up in a Catholic atmosphere. However, as soon as I was old enough to say I'm not going, I quit going. So probably by 12 or 13, they probably couldn't make me go anymore, I would say. So I just didn't have any other upbringing until I got into my 20s. So I dabbled a little bit back then, read some books, you know, kind of just got used to the concept of spirituality. Then in the 90s, I moved to Hawaii. And I lived in Hawaii from 1991 to 2006, so 15 years. And while I was there, I ended up getting a divorce and going through a custody battle. It was a very difficult time. That decade was very difficult for me in a lot of ways. And so I started doing a lot of soul searching and working on myself. And I had a couple of spiritual teachers that I would say. One was named Annye and the other one was named Diana. And I used to spend quite a bit of time with them doing different kind of work on myself, but always in a spiritual path, not a religious one. And so through that work, I got introduced to a church in Hawaii called Unity Church of Hawaii. Don't know if you'd call it Unitarian, and certainly not Unitarian Universalist, probably, but it was at least non-denominational. And so I liked that aspect of it. And I went there quite a bit, I'd say over, I don't know, an 8 or 10 year period. So I knew that was kind of, if I was going to go to a church or be involved in any kind of a movement like that, I kind of knew that was the direction I wanted to go. So then met John, we got married, we moved back here to Texas in 2006. And then didn't go to church for a long time. I mean, we tried something that I thought was a Unitarian church in Benbrook and close to Fort Worth, but I'm not sure that's what it was, because once we got in there, they had all these rules and regulations, and you had to read a book and, you know, do all this training and stuff to be a member there, and I was like, no. So that didn't last very long. But about 3 years ago, John and I moved from Texas up here to Oklahoma, 2002 or 3? 22. Thank you. I'm glad you guys know. See, that's the difference. These people know a little bit about my life. Well, you know, I mean, that's the difference between having a community and just going to church is, you know, people actually know you. But at any rate, so we moved up here in 2022. Long story short, I got to another place in about 2023 where I was doing some soul searching, partly because I had a lot of expectations about what moving up here was going to be like with my son and his wife living up here. And those expectations they weren't fulfilled in the way I thought they should be. So I kind of had a little grapple with myself on how am I going to deal with probably not being a grandmother, you know, the disappointments of the expectations I had not being met. And through that process, John and I were having some challenges as well. And so through that process, I decided I was going to some therapy, and I decided I needed probably some extra support. So I Googled, I think, Unitarian churches, and this one came up. And so I came here by myself for probably a couple of months. I came here and, you know, it felt like the right kind of place, and I don't know what happened. It was this whirlwind, because within a month I was like part of this place. I mean, for one thing, you know, I'm a hugger, and I like to go up and talk to people, and so probably week 2 or 3, I'm already going around welcoming the newcomers, you know. And they're probably looking at me like, what the hell is she doing? She just got here, you know. But that's just kind of how I operate. And so everybody here kind of let me do that, even though I got some funny stares. And now the people who used to stare at me funny hug me back.
There you go.
So I'm just saying. It did work. So, I guess, let's see. Yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention, I did make a few notes, is that John and I have been married 25 years in May. You can clap. You should clap, because 25 years with one person is a lot. I mean, for anybody that's been with a person that long, it's a long time to be with one person. And John and I, for whatever reason, it was just him and me. We raised my son till he was 18, and then he went off to the military like Bailey. And isn't that right? Okay. And see, I know things about her too. It's called community. And we didn't really have a social life. I mean, we just weren't the people who went out and created a social life. It was just him and me and my son. Then it was just him and me, which is fine. But it really occurred to me after I moved up here that after I came to this church, that I needed to expand my life. You know, I needed it to be more than just him and me, that wasn't gonna sustain both of us for another 25 years. So that's how it all started coming here. And, you know, next thing I know, Mike's got me on committees, and I'm doing stuff, and I'm meeting people, and everything's just happening. And it was just like it was meant to be, that I was supposed to be here. And then I told John about the church and asked him if he'd come, and he started coming. And it took him a while to warm up because he's a little different than I am. But now he's like fully in, you know, and he's on committees, and we're doing stuff together. And we have a social life now, and we go traveling, and we go to play. I've never been to a community theater in my life until I moved here. I'd been to plays and stuff, but I mean, I just had not ever been involved in a community. And now I'm in a community, not just this one, but the Stillwater one too. So that all happened because I came here. That's it. It all happened because I came here, and you people showed me how to get involved in those kind of things, and I do like it. So when I was deciding to retire, if I wanted to retire last year or not, it became very clear to me that now I know that I'm okay retiring, because it's not like I'm not going to have things to do. I never once went, oh my God, what do I do now? Because by the time I retired at the end of last year, I had I was going in a path, and it included this place and these people mostly, to be honest with you. I've got some friends outside the church, but they know somebody in here. There ain't nobody that doesn't know somebody at the university, at UU Church. So that's how it kind of went for me. This is also pledge drive time, and that's part of this whole, program, is to encourage people to fulfill the vision. And it doesn't necessarily have to be money. It can be a lot of things, service, and I'm really happy that Alicia is taking the lead on doing a forum, and that she's got the solstice thing this month. We need other people like the younger group and anybody else to participate. The Bell family is very advantageous to this church because they're participating in things. That's what we need. It's not only about money, but if you can give money, that helps too. It's all going to help somewhere, whether you see it in a hard cost or you see it in a service that's being done for us or the community. So thank you for listening, and namaste.
I'm going to add 1 extra minute to the minute.
It's a long minute.
It's a long minute, but that's okay. Anyway, we've started off with a great start on our pledge drive. We had 46 people at our dinner, and we really had a good time. I did, for sure. And our board was very supportive. I think I mentioned previously that that Hillary Howarth wrote a little Valentine card to our board asking them to pledge. And they did. You can see $16,000 that we started off our pledge with. And after our kickoff dinner to today, we are now at $46,000. That's about 58% of our goal. We also have, to date, 18 pledges, and our target is 51. So that's our status. We're doing very well, but let's keep it up.
That's 33 more to go, not 23.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll hide that. Is there one?
All right, we should be ready for our prelude.
May your vision be, well, that happens sometimes to mine. I'm going to talk about that even. But let's see if I can do it again. May your vision be lit, and may it grow. Our first hymn is number 126. And pay attention to the words because they go so beautifully with Be Thou My Vision, that sense of Thou fount of every blessing.
I just want to say that I miss having Terry read her story, but now that we've got copyright problems, we have to kind of, it's not so easy. And anyway, I dug up a story, and I hope it's okay. And it's a story from the Brothers Grimm fairy tales.
That's probably in the public domain.
Well, there's 99 of them in this book, and yeah. But anyway, it's kind of a sad little story with a message at the end, so I think it's worth telling. Okay, there was once a very old man whose eyes had become dim, his ears dull of hearing. His knees trembled, and when he sat at dinner, he could hardly hold a spoon, and he spilled broth upon the tablecloth, and it ran out of his mouth. His son and his son's wife were disgusted by this. So the old grandfather at last had to sit in the corner behind the stove. And they gave him his food in an earthenware bowl. and not even enough of it. He used to look forward to being with his family at the table. His eyes were full of tears, his hands were trembling, and he could barely hold the bowl, and it fell to the ground and broke. The young wife scolded him, but he said nothing and only sighed quietly. Then they bought him a wooden bowl for a halfpence, out of which he had to eat. They were once sitting thus when the little grandson of 4 began to gather together some bits of wood from the ground. What are you doing there?" asked his father. "Oh, I'm making a little wooden bowl for father and mother to eat out of when I'm big," he answered. The man and his wife looked at each other for a while, and tears began to run down their faces. Then they took old grandfather to the table, and from then on always let him eat with them, and likewise said nothing if he spilled anything.
It's time for the offertory. Yeah. Our church is supported by your donations quite well, as you can see in our donation. Our plate this month will be shared with Habitat for Humanity.
We decided light was part of that. And we're going to invite you all to sing with us. We are going to sing "This Little Light of Mine," and Lee is going to call out the beginning of each verse, so you know the first one. All right.
This is a very solemn introduction.
Very serious.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, shine, shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Everywhere I go.
Everywhere I go. Shine everywhere I go. I'm gonna let it shine, shine. Everywhere I go. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Building up a world.
Building up a world. I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world. Building up the world, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Okay.
How do you feel after that? Pay attention. What's it like in your body? How does it feel? how's your chest? How's your throat? How's your stomach? I've been asking myself a lot of questions. I'm a questioner, so yeah, I've been asking myself a lot of questions. These are the questions that are of late. So, it seems like at this time in the world that I need to be able to know where my power is, what it comes from, and how I want it to shine in the world. You know, what is my light? How am I going to light it? What's the source that keeps it going? And when it gets down low here, what's going to renew it? And how am I going to, again, shine it in the world? I can't shine it like you can. I can't shine it like you can. I can't shine it like you can. I have to shine it like I can. And so your paper today and your pencil is to begin to be aware of you and your power and how you want it to shine. Okay, in what form? Can I create a way that my power comes from, for me, that source of goodness, that fount of every blessing? And if it does, how do I continue to strengthen it, to withstand and to stand strong against that which will challenge my goodness and the goodness of others? Now that happens from the outside, that I'm challenged, and it also happens from the inside. I challenge my goodness. You know? There are challenges within me to my goodness. And how do I continue to learn in ways that my goodness is strengthened? So like I said, it is strong enough to withstand against that which challenges it, me. That's a hard one. How do I undermine and move away from my own and others' goodness? What do I do that undermines my ability to be in touch with, to find the source of the blessing, of the fount of every blessing? What do I do that outwardly sometimes that moves somebody away from their best? Instead of inviting them to connect from my best to their best, what are the things I do? How do I become so great at connecting with that which is best in me so that I can quickly return to it when I find I have been challenged, when I find I have undermined it? Because I'm going to, you're going to, we're all going to. We're going to find us clear off the path. And it's like, how quickly? There has to be enough strength in my ability to develop my groundedness that when I fall off the path, I can get back on. Or that when I fall off the path, I have the kind of community that Lynn was talking about, that they'll get me back on. They'll say, whoa, what's happening here? Hey. They know me well enough that when I fall off the path a little, they say, hey, girl, come on, sister, come back this way. We gotcha. And maybe they're going to need to hold me for a while until I am strong enough again to let go of that way that I am undermining myself or getting lost from. Okay? So those are the questions I've been asking myself. imagine, because you are questioning people, so of course, there are going to be tons more questions than there are in the question box. You know, Mark's going to have a chance to be able to know that there won't be an end to questions. That's the kind of people you are. That's why you're here. You probably come seeking the right questions as much here as you do the right answers. Okay. So, to begin with, we need to get in touch with ourselves and kind of how we work. So I'm going to make a statement. And what I want you to do, no, that's not a good Unitarian start to a sentence. I'm going to make a statement, and I am inviting you to see how you respond to the statement, okay? And the first response is, I want you to be aware of what's happening in your body. That doesn't mean you decide to accept the invitation, but the invitation is, because we're trying to get enough aware of ourselves so that we can begin to create our own visions, because I can't give you your vision. Okay, so first is your bodily reaction. When I say, calm down. Get in control of yourself. What happened to your breath? What happened to your chest? What happened to your throat? What happened to your shoulders? What happened to your... Yeah, just bodily awareness. And you can write it down if you want, or you can just remember it. But I gave you the paper because it's you expressing you. You have a chance. Calm down. Get under control. What's your first reaction? What do you want to do? Calm down. Get under control. What are you thinking? First, I'm going to have to listen to my body, because when you say it to yourself, you know, it looked like I was saying it to you, but when you say it to yourself, it happens in my body too, and it's happening. And let's see. Okay, it's like that. And my shoulders went up, and my jaw came forward, and I kind of wanted to back away. And, okay, what did I want to do? I want to go home and get under my bed. Right now. I want to be less exposed, you know, with that. Okay, and what was I thinking? That was too much. That was too loud. You may have already lost all of them and you just started your sermon. Okay. So we all have reactions. And those reactions that I just had aren't necessarily the response that I want to have now to you, because that's the next part, the response. I don't really want to respond by quitting the sermon and going and getting in my car and going home and hiding under the bed. But that's how I feel. That's how I feel. And those are the thoughts I have. No, you know, really, if I stop and get connected again, I think, oh, these people here, I know these people, and they probably have enough faith in me that if I'm going to do something like that, I'm going to help them get somewhere. So can I not be afraid that I've just ruined the whole thing? Can I have some faith in these people here to maybe stay long enough to see where I'm going to go with this? And the responses are based a lot on, there's polyvagal theory, and a lot of the responses are based on your ability to respond to stress. Your ability to stress is like the small T of trauma. You know, trauma is like on a continuum, and it's clear over here with big T's, and it's all the whole full-blown PTSD. And this is kind of like the small T of trauma. Now, for some of you, it might have been a bigger T because a loud voice sends you on that scale, a certain way on that scale. And then you either want to stand up and fight me, get that woman to be quiet, and I'm going to do whatever it takes for her. Or you want to run, which is what mine was. Or you get so overwhelmed that you freeze. Or you want to, what do I need to do to placate her? What do I need to do to calm her down? What do I need to do? I'll just do whatever she needs me to do. That's fun. Whatever you need, I'll do. Or it may be that you are such a centered person and so used to coming back to your center over and over and over again that you said, well, that's curious. That's a really curious thing she did. I wonder where she's going to go with that. I wonder, what would some of the things that she might say from there? That's very curious. I'd like to know more about that. I think I want to stay and hear some more. Or internal family systems will tell you you have all those parts, and maybe they went in succession. First you did that, and then you felt like that, and then you said, well, maybe I'll stay, and then it was, who knows? You might have had them all of those reactions. So back to the questions. I know I have all that within me. I know there are times when I want to fight because somebody invites me to fight. There are times when I want to run. There are times when I am frozen and overwhelmed. There are times when I want to do whatever needs to be done to make myself safe, which I'll do whatever it is that you need me to do to be okay. And there are times when I think, how curious. How very, very curious. Now, I have the advantage, experience of being a psychotherapist for a long time. So in the safety of my office or in the safety of the Zoom world that I build with somebody, it's a lot easier for me, since I am the therapist, to go to, oh, how curious, and oh, I'd like to understand. But I'm not always the therapist. And so I can feel all of those things and have. But my problem is, in the answer to those questions that I gave, I don't really want to react out of hardly any of them. I don't want to run. I don't want to fight. I don't want to freeze. I don't want to fawn. I want to stay present. I want to be able, but presence has within it some compassion, some clarity, some connectedness. Now, these are words from interior family systems when they talk about the big self, which could be the fountain of every blessing, could be the center of the universe, could be God, could be goddess, could be nature. It's whatever your big self is, how you connect. And these are the words. I want to stay in a place of compassion, curiosity, courage. It takes a lot of courage to stay there sometimes. Clarity. Clarity is, I want to be able to see it clearly. I want to see what's going on with me. I want to see what's going on with you. Presence. Can I stay here? Can I stay connected? Can I stay present? Perspective. Can I broaden my perspective? Not the very first thing, the very first thought I had, the very first idea I had. Can I broaden it? And my very first one's there, but can there be other ones? Is there another place to stand? Is there another way to see it? No? Creativity. Ooh, this sounds like it might be fun. What could we create out of this? Connectedness. I don't want to, in my presence, I don't want to lose connection. calm. This sermon is about, instead of calming from top down, calm down, calming coming from inside out, going down to find the place where your calm is, and coming bottom up with calm. Fount of every blessing, bottom up. Bottom up with compassion, not because you tell me I better be nice. Bottom up curiosity. Bottom up from the inside out. Finding the places that those things are in me and helping them grow and letting them out. So, you would think that this is an absolutely planned service, which is and also is spontaneous, in that the scripture that I'm going to use today is the hymn, Be Thou My Vision. This song is very important to me. It's that lovely Irish tune. Da, 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 you know, that lilting Irishness. And it's one that has been sung all through my growing up, and as I've told many of you many times, my father was a minister, and so therefore he was my only minister until I left home. And this was one of his favorites. In fact, it was one that he wanted to be sung at his funeral because it was about who he was, what he wanted his vision to be, what he tried to live out in his sermons, how fast he could get back to that place when he fell off the edge of it, because he wasn't a perfect man, but this is what he wanted. And you have this amazing hymnal that has worked so hard to work on the hierarchy and moving some of the barriers so you're not the lowly little thing down here working toward the hierarchy, and it also works toward gender-neutral pronouns. And it's wonderful, and that is the way I want to go. But for this sermon, I'm going to start with the old words because I want you to think in terms of an ancient Irish priest, maybe in the 6th or 7th century. I mean, we're old, an ancient Irish priest living in Ireland where the most power on earth was the High King. Okay? So there was hierarchy, and there wasn't much power from underneath to begin with, and he came up with this verse, this poem that became a song later, which is also an Irish song. He came up with this verse that had to do with, okay, where's my power going to come from? Who is my vision? Who's going to empower me? When all I know, the highest power is the High King. There's lots of low kings in Ireland, you know, a ruler of this group of people and a ruler of that group of people and somebody who owns that land and all the serfs that are on that land and servants and everything. And there's the High King, which is powerful enough that sort of brings those warring low kings into some kind of configuration that they get along. So there's a lot of hierarchy in his life. Plus he's a lowly priest and there's probably several priests above him until you get to the Pope. Lots of hierarchy. Okay. So I'm going to use the old words because I think that's what we're struggling with right now, is it feels sometimes like there is too much power over. There's too much power over us. And what do we do with all of these levels of power that decide they can do this and that decide they can do that and they can decide they can do this and it feels as though we have none. So where are we going to get our power? It has to be a powerful vision, one so powerful that we want to come back to, that continues to hold us. And it has to be personal, and it has to be deep. And it can be shared, but it starts with finding those places in you and building them, strengthening them, helping them grow. Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart. Already you're bringing the power down to heart level. It's what's gonna be written on my heart. It's gonna be what is the Lord of my heart. Be not all else to me save what thou art, the Lord of my heart. What is that power that opens your heart, that makes your heart strong? What is it? What is it? Begin to imagine. What are the things that touch your heart? Oh, that was so heartfelt. Oh, my heart just opened up. Oh, it felt like my heart had wings. You know, all of those things we say. What are some of those things that do that for you? Because that's where you need to rest for a while and gain strength. Thou my best thought, by day or by night. What are your best thoughts? When are you at your best? You know, when is it easier for you to be at your best? Because that's where you go to strengthen. You start with, it has to be safe enough, I have to feel okay enough that I can have my best thoughts. I'm not constantly trying to protect or defend or fight or freeze or whatever. When can you have your best thoughts? Because you need to go there. Often. By day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence, that which is all, the source of everything, thy presence, my light. I'm going toward the good. I'm doing the things that let me stay there longer, to let me find it easier, to strengthen my ability to go back there over and over again. And I want it to be my light. The thing that in the dark I can find and go back to. Because there's dark in everybody's life at different times, in different ways. Be thou my wisdom, and thou my true word. Where do you go for wisdom? And where do you go for truth? Isn't that a question that we're asking over and over again right now? Where do we go for wisdom? And where do we go for truth? I was reading a little bit of a physics book that a professor gave to me. I took this class, I'm a humanities major, and at University of Louisville, they had a class of physics for humanities majors. So Dr. Dillon, who was an amazing, amazing scientist that did all sorts of amazing things in his life, was a lover of humanities. So he took these physics concepts and he brought the poetry out of them. And boy, when we took a test, we had to know the physics. But we also, he was helping us connect the ways that the world is created, connect the ways that the universe works to us, and that we are of the universe. There's nothing in us that's not. And so, he said one day, you know, at the beginning, everything had the information they needed to become whatever it was they were going to become. Yeah. And he said, I want you to think about information as in form. It's going to form you. What information does is it forms you, and then you reach out and you become connected to the information that you have, what's connected over here. So maybe you're gonna become H2O. You started just H and you're gonna become H2O. Maybe you're gonna become carbon. Maybe you're gonna become, what is it that is gonna, the information in you is going to. And I got to thinking about that this week. And what are your information sources? What are the sources that form you? Because we got a bunch of ways to get information, a whole bunch of ways. And they form us. The things that we hear over and over and over again form us. They inform us, they form us. We also have all the information we gained as a child, all the information we gained in our community, all the information, and they have formed us. And so it's what information do you need coming in so that your form begins to transform into your best. Riches I heed not, nor man's empty praise. Thou, my inheritance, now and always. Now that's where your vision is. What is important to me? What are my riches? Where does the richness of my life come from? Is it your vision? Do you have a vision that when you live it out, your life is richer? You know, good feels good. You know, when you've done something good and you know you've done something good, it feels good. Now, you may not get praised, and you may get punished. You know, that blessed are those who suffer for righteousness. You may get punished, but it feels good. That's your riches. That's you connected to your deepest riches, your widest riches. Thou mine inheritance, now and always. Thou and thou only, first in my heart. You know, right down to the center. What's the first goodness of you? You're born and you're a baby, a tiny little baby, and you are a bundle of goodness, the goodness of life right there. Maybe you're not perfect. You know, maybe there's some weird eye or weird hand or weird. There's no bad babies. You're good. Here's a good baby. You started out that way. It's still there. It's still in the center of you. It's still the source of you. It's the second you came from the source. Or maybe when you were conceived was the second you came from the source. You came from the source. There is nothing about you that doesn't come from the source of the universe. There is nothing in any of you anywhere that isn't how the universe is made. It's made like you, and 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 it's made like me. It's a giver of life. Okay, here's the hierarchical part. But I want you to think of it in terms of what's going to be higher than the High King of Ireland. High King of Heaven, my victory is won. Okay. So what are your heavens? When are you in heaven? I'm telling you, it's not at the end of your life. I'm telling you, it's available, and I'm telling you. What are the times you say, oh, that was heavenly? Just heavenly. What are your heavens? Can you be there more often? Can you be your best self? Can you be that which is heavenly more often? Of heaven. You know, my heaven doesn't have gold streets. That's back to riches I heed not. My heaven doesn't have wings. My heaven doesn't have white robes. I am really, really concerned about this white shirt I have on, because I've always thought that maybe I'll finally grow up and be an adult that can wear white. But most of the time, by the end of the day, I find out, no, I'm still not. So white robes is not going to be something I want. Maybe you want, what? What's heaven? Heaven, heaven. Sometimes heaven, this morning heaven was sitting on my front porch, and we have a driveway that's about a quarter of a mile long, and whoever lived there, I don't know how many years ago, planted ornamental pear trees down both sides of the driveway, so there are about 7 or 8 on each side, so about 16 or 17, and they are all blooming right now. So I'm sitting on my front porch drinking my coffee with a blue sky, with white clouds, with all of those ornamental pear trees. It felt like heaven to me. It was a good place to start from this morning. What are the good places for you to start? What are the good places for you to go back to? What is heavenly? I've had massages that I can tell you feel like I was in heaven. My body was in heaven. Oh, this is what it feels like when my body is the way it's supposed to be. Oh my goodness, this is heaven. What are the heavens? What are your heavens? You need to go there often. You need to come out of there often. Your best self. You know, it's not something at the end of life, it's here. Heart of my own heart, whatever betide, still be my vision, O ruler of all. So I'm going to end with a scripture from Paul, who you know, because I've told you before, sometimes I don't think Paul and I would have liked each other. He had certain ideas that I don't agree with. And he also had some of his best is some of the best there is. Some of his worst I could do without. But some of his best is the best there is. And so Paul, like this Irish monk, is in the middle of a hierarchical, powerful state, Roman Empire, which holds the power over everybody in the empire. Everything that happens. And they decide if you are good or if you are bad. They decide if you live or if you die, if you get fed. They decide how high your taxes are going to be. They decide. It's not a democracy. And Paul thinks, okay, as Christians, we're probably going to have to go into battle. So, what does Christian battle look like? And for him, Christian, Christ-like, is centered in goodness, centered in love. So that which is good, that which is love, is that which is in Christ, for Paul. Okay? So he says, okay, this is it. He's writing a letter to the Ephesians, because they're under Roman law too. And he's saying, okay, people, this is how we go into battle in a Christ-like way. We have the breastplate. Stand therefore, having girded your loins in truth. You know, like, now somebody says gird your loins, you think, oh, okay, I'm standing up straight, I've got all of this tucked in and I'm ready. What would it be like if your belt, the way you belted yourself, the way you're ready to go and nothing's going to fall apart, is truth. You're girded in truth. And put on the breastplate. What are you going to put over your heart? What's going to be over your heart? Put on the breastplate of righteousness. Now, righteousness in Hebrew is right fit. So you know those times when it feels right, when it fits with what is inside you and it fits, oh yeah, this is what needs to be done here. This is what needs to be said. Not the out of fear, out of running away, out of freezing, nope, from your heart, with the breastplate of righteousness. Righteousness is going to protect, but it's also going to speak from. The breastplate of righteousness. Having shod your feet with the equipment of the gospel of peace. oh my goodness, we're going into battle with shoes of peace. Every step we place is going to be a step of peace. But we're moving forward, and we're going with peace. Besides all these, take the shield of faith. Kind of hard to have faith, but if we're going back and working more on finding our goodness and working more on finding all those things, then maybe we have faith that we have goodness. And maybe we have faith, it could be simple. I have faith that if I come here on Sunday and sit here someplace, somebody's probably going to think I'm okay, even if I don't feel okay everywhere else. You know? Somebody's probably going to think I'm okay, just like I am. And faith may be in your own okayness. I didn't say perfection, I said okayness. Take on, besides, what faith does. Besides these, taking the shield of faith with you can quench all the flaming darts of the evil one. Whoever you've decided the evil one is, having faith, having righteousness, having peace, and take the helmet of salvation. Now that's one of those words that sometimes, coming from this part of the country, we hear it as, are you saved? But if you think of salvation as the deliverance of your soul from that which keeps it imprisoned. The deliverance of the best of you from that which keeps it imprisoned. So take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit. When you get in touch with that which is spiritual, like Lynn said, not necessarily religious, but deeply spiritual, there's your sword. Lead with the Spirit. Pray at all times in the Spirit. So meditate, pray, contemplate, sit quietly. Whatever it is, stay in that place as long as you can. And with prayer and supplication, back to supplication, who are you going to supplicate to or what? What in you are you going to give yourself up to? What out there are you going to give yourself up to? Prayer and supplication. And in the end, keep alert with all perseverance, making supplication for all saints. Oh, okay, we're going to supplicate to those good people, that which is good in those people. Oh, I heard it good. I heard the best thing the other day. Yeah, supplicate. That's where supplication goes. It's, you heard the best. It lit up in you. It touched you, and there you are. So, in your hymnal, it's number 20, and if you need to read the words over and over and over again, there they are, over and over and over again. A little different than the ones I said, because this hymnal is written by people who want to move out of everything being a hierarchy and move out of every tiny little place cut up. Okay, it's he this and she this and they that, and move out of and make a place where everybody can sing the words. So I invite you to do that. I invite you to hold that song in your heart and see where it takes you. And look for all those other things in your life. And I want to journey with you while you do that. Amen. Our final hymn is, I think, 117. Is that right? Another great one. Listen to the words as you sing it out. in that hymn, it was inviting light and love to come this way. I'm also inviting light and love to come this way. Light for your path, and light that you are for each other.
And that concludes the recorded portion of the service. We will continue with trail march.